Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to talk about the velocity triangles of the Francis turbine. Before talking about the Francis turbine velocity triangles, let us talk about the introduction part. It was invented by James B. Francis and it comes under the category of the reaction turbines. This turbine operates under medium discharge conditions and medium head conditions. In this case, the water from the reservoir enters into the spiral casing via means of a penstock. In that case, we don't use nozzles. The water is further guided to the runner vanes. The diameter of the spiral casing decreases basically right from the start to the end. This is done in order to maintain the flow pressure. So similar as it was the case of Pelton wheel turbine, the energy of the rotation is used to produce electricity by means of a generator which is connected to the runner shaft. So again, it is very important to understand the velocity triangles in case of the Francis turbine because it governs the efficiency of a hydropower plant. So how the inflow and outflow of the water takes place, it is very important. So in this slide we will discuss about the terminology. So the subscript 1 indicates the inflow conditions. So V1 is the absolute velocity of the jet at the inlet, U1 is the velocity of vane at the inlet, VR1 is the relative velocity of the jet at the inlet, VW1 is the real component of the velocity, and VF1 is the flow component of the velocity. Basically V1 will give us VW1 and V1 will also give us VF1. These two are the parallel and the perpendicular components of this velocity V1. The parallel component is called as the real component of the velocity, and perpendicular component is denoted by VF1. Alpha is the angle called as the jet angle at the inlet, and theta is basically the vane angle at the inlet. So these will also be there in case of a exit velocity triangle or outlet velocity triangle. So V2 will be designated by absolute velocity of the jet at the outlet, U2 is the velocity of the vane at the outlet, VR2 is the relative velocity of the jet at the outlet. So similarly, V2 will be resolved into two components that will be VW2 and VF2, called as the real component of the velocity at the outlet and flow component of the velocity at the outlet. Similarly, beta is the jet angle at the outlet and phi is the vane angle at the outlet. So it is important to understand that this alpha and this beta are the jet angles. Basically we can also call them as the guide vane angles. So these are the jet angles or guide vane angles at the inlet and outlet respectively. Similarly, the angle theta and angle phi are the vane angles at inlet and at outlet respectively. The velocity triangles here again have been shown. So this is a case where we have shown the outward flow reaction turbine wherein the water is entering at the inlet and it is moving towards the outer periphery. So what we can say in that case, we have an inlet velocity triangle and outlet velocity triangle. So we have a vane, this is a vane, so again the vane will be drawn likewise this. So the water will strike to this vane at certain angle, and this angle is called as the alpha, which we have shown over here. We also know that there is a movement of this vane in the x direction with some velocity called as u. So this velocity at u at the inlet will be noted by u1. So when we will draw the velocity triangle, this component will give us the absolute velocity v1 at the inlet, and it is also moving in the x direction with some velocity u1, called as the velocity of the vane. So angle between v1 and u1 is called as alpha, which is denoted over here. So v1 will be given to us some velocity of the jet, u1 will also be with us. U1 is basically, again, it can be calculated by using the formula pi dm by 60. So at an appropriate diameter and for a corresponding rpm, we can find out u1. So this u1 can be drawn on this axis, this x-axis. So a line, a vector which will complete this triangle will be called as the relative velocity component, and it will be denoted by vr1. And this relative velocity component will essentially be tangent to the tip at the inlet. So this is the inlet tip. This vr1 should be tangent to this this tip at the inlet. If we'll extend it likewise this, so it should be likewise this. So if also we'll extend it likewise this, we'll get a line. So this angle is called as the theta. It is the angle of the vane at the inlet, called as the theta. So this angle is an alternate angle to this one. So here we can also write it as theta, which is the vane angle at the inlet, and it is, as I told you, that this angle theta will be with the relative velocity component, and the angle or the vane angle which we have drawn is always with the relative velocity component. It should always be with the relative velocity component, the vane angle. So now we have the absolute velocity component. In order to find out the components in x and y direction, what we will do is we will resolve this v1 into two components. The component which is parallel to the rotation of the wheel in the u direction, and that component will be called as vw1. So the component which is perpendicular to the direction of the motion is called as vf1, or called as a flow velocity component. Subscript 1 means it is at the inlet. So this is the case of an inlet velocity triangle. So the water will essentially glide along this vane, and it will move in this direction, likewise this. So when the water will move in this direction, okay, so there will be a tangent. So we'll draw a tangent which will be at the tip of this. We'll draw a tangent at the tip of the vane, and we'll extend it, and we'll get we will call it as vr2 as the relative velocity component will be tangent to that. Okay, so what will be the magnitude of this? Again, a formula will be used which was used in case of Pelton wheel turbine also. K is equals to vr2 by vr1. So vr1 is the relative velocity that we will find here from at the inlet, because we will be knowing what is alpha, we will be knowing what is v1, u1, we will be knowing it, and we can find out vr1, and vr1 we'll put over here, and k is basically a factor which will consider the frictional effects or some other effects along the vane. So this parameter this is basically a coefficient, so we'll be knowing the value of coefficient, and it is certainly less than 1, so we can find out vr2. So we'll draw this component vr2 whatever the magnitude will be here, and we also note that u2 is equals to pi dm by 60 as u1 was calculated. So we will find out u2, and since the direction of u2 is known to us, so we will plot u2 likewise this. So u2 will be there. Okay, so in order to complete this triangle, we'll draw a vector, we'll draw a line that will denote v2, called as the absolute velocity component of the Francis turbine at the outlet. Now u2 is with us, vr2 is with us, v2 is this is complete. since this VR2 vector is tangent to the tip, so it will extend this one. We'll extend this one like this, and we'll get an angle which will be called as a phi. It is the angle of the vane at the outlet. So this phi we can write over here also, because it's an alternate angle. So this is basically the angle of the vane at the outlet. So now we have V2. So in order to get VW2 and VF2, we will again resolve it, because it is the velocity component, absolute velocity component, which can be resolved into parallel component and the perpendicular component along the direction of the motion of the vane. So the component which is here, it is VW2, and the perpendicular component is VF2. So the magnitude of VW2 is very much less. Here you can see. So it in that case it depends upon what? It depends upon this U2. If U2 will be more, VW2 will be less, or it can be negative in other cases that we will discuss in the next slide. So here we can draw the velocity triangle at the outlet. From observing these two triangles, you can see that V1 over here is outside, but in that case V2 is inside. It is essentially by taking into consideration the direction of U. U is basically the direction of the motion of the vane. In both the cases, it is in this direction. So that's why VR2 is outside over here, and V2 will be inside. It will be there for each and every case. So you should remember this, that VR2 will always be in the outward direction and in comparison to the V2 as far as the outlet velocity triangle is concerned. So this was the case for a slow moving runner. Again, if the velocity of this U2 or velocity of this vane will be more, certainly this magnitude will increase, and this line will tend to come over here like this, and it can go towards that side depending upon the magnitude of this U2. If it will have more magnitude, it will be likewise this. So it was a case of a slow moving runner. As far as the inlet velocity triangle is concerned, it will not change. It will remain same for each and every case, but the outlet velocity triangle may change depending upon the velocity of the vane that we will discuss in the next slide. So one more important thing is that in case of a symmetric vane, if this vane is symmetric, this angle phi and theta and phi will essentially be equal. This theta and phi will be equal if we have a case of a symmetric vane. So in this slide, the velocity outlet triangle for a Francis turbine for a medium moving runner as well as for the fast moving runner will be discussed. So as discussed in the previous slide, see, whenever the velocity of the vane will be more, so this u will increase. So in that case, the magnitude of u will be more in comparison to the previous case. So this one, if the vane will be likewise this, so this is basically the outlet tip of the vane, and then the velocity triangle has been drawn likewise this. So if we'll increase towards the other side, it will be a tangent basically. So this component of the velocity VR2 we will calculate as it has been calculated in the previous slide, and then U2, the magnitude of the vane, will also be there by using the formula U is equals to pi dn by 60. So when we'll make a vector of this, so what we'll get it in the form of a perpendicular line for a medium moving runner. So this angle will be 90 degree, which means the beta will be 90 degree, and the component VW2 will not be there because this V2 is perpendicular to this U2. So there is no other component, so the parallel component will be 0. So that's why VW2 will be equals to 0 and beta is equals to 90 degree in case of a medium moving runner. So essentially V2 will be equals to VF2, and where VF2 is the flow velocity at the outlet. So similarly for a fast moving runner, if I'll draw a vane likewise this, so VR2 again will be drawn likewise this, and U2 is the magnitude. We'll be knowing the value of that as we know it, how to calculate this one. This magnitude we will draw, okay, Then a line which will a vector which will complete this triangle will be given by this, and this will be known as v2. So I have wrongly written over here, it is basically v2 and it is vf2. So this v2, when it will be resolved into the perpendicular direction, it will give you vf2, and the other component which is parallel to that, the direction of the motion of the vane, will be denoted by vw2. So here you can say with the increase in u2, the vw2 is essentially moving towards that side. So in that case, beta is greater than 90 degree. So for a slow moving runner, beta is less than 90 degree. Beta is less than 90 degree. For a medium moving runner, beta is equals to 90 degree, and for a fast moving runner, beta is greater than 90 degree. So moving on towards a slide. So work done in case work done by the water will be given by rho q into vw1 into u1, vw2 into u2, where q is a discharge and it is given by pi d1 b1 into f1. Rho is the density, u is pi dn by 60. u1 u2 will be different, they will not be equal in that case, in case of Francis, as it was the case with the Pelton wheel turbine, in which u1 and u2 were equal. In that case they will not be equal. So d1 and d2 are the inlet and outlet diameters. Suppose we have this kind of Francis turbine, so these are mounted on the periphery of the wheel. So certainly this is the inlet and certainly this is outlet. So d1 and d2 will essentially be different. So it's the u1 and u2. So b1 is basically the vane width at the inlet and vane width at the outlet. So in case of radial discharge, I have told you beta will be equals to 90 degree, vw2 will be equals to 0. So if we'll put vw2 is equals to 0 in the above formula, what we will get? We will get that this component will be 0. We'll only get that output is equals to rho q into vw1 into u1. So this is the output, or it is the work which have been done by the water on the runner. So this is output energy. As far as the input energy is concerned, it is basically the energy supplied by the water in that case, and it is essentially wq into h, where w is a specific weight and it can be given by rho into g. Q is the discharge and h is the net head. So we have the input, we have the output. So output by input will give you the hydraulic efficiency, and on simplifying it, we'll get the hydraulic efficiency as vw1 u1 by gh. This is for a case when beta is equals to 90 degrees, or we can say when the discharge is in the radial direction, or it is radially outwards, when the flow is radially outwards. So the concept of drawing the Francis turbine at velocity triangles is somewhat different from the concept of drawing the velocity triangles for the Pelton wheel turbine. So I thank you very much for watching this video. Have a nice day.